All right, everyone, aloha. Welcome to this seminar on automation is nothing without strategy. I'm Ronnie Tsunami, and I'm here with Evan Cameron. Evan, how are you doing?
Doing very, very well. Thank you.
Yeah, for those of you who are just joining and don't really know too much about us, just to do a little brief introduction here. I'm Ronnie Tsunami. I'm a technology speaker and advisor, and I basically travel around the country speaking about how to leverage technology in growing your business faster. I'm all about acceleration, going big, and going fast. I've been in the field for 20 years in technology, working with the lead network engineer, or as the lead network engineer for the Secretary of Defense, building programs for Microsoft and other companies. And my programs have been implemented in about 10,000 academic institutions worldwide. So I really love training and helping people to leverage the latest technology. Because let's face it, a lot of competition out there. Got to keep the edge. Make sure that you're up in front and riding and leading the wave rather than being underneath that wave, as I like to say. And Evan, my good friend, Evan is my partner manager at Infusionsoft. And Evan, you are just as much a business CIO type of person. You understand business process and how to automate just as much as I do. And so, Evan, I'll let you tell a little more about yourself.
Well, thank you, Ronnie. It's definitely good to be here, and thank everyone for taking time out of your days. Yeah, I'm a third generation entrepreneur. My grandfather was a small business owner. My dad was a small business owner, and I like to say I've been working since he was able to carry me on his shoulders through his stores. So grew up in the retail world. Been a big technology guy, but a big sales and marketing guy as well. I'm blessed and cursed with knowing all aspects of it. So it creates competing aspects of my brain from day to day, but it's certainly fun. And I've actually been here working with small businesses at Infusionsoft for about 4.5 years now. Worked with and probably talked with about 4,000 small businesses over the last few years, and just love entrepreneurs and love small businesses, and just have massive passion behind really carving out and helping small businesses create their success, and leveraging technology and strategy to do that. So again,
yeah, I think that's one of the things that really impressed me about you, Evan, is in talking to you in the past and going through some of the problems that entrepreneurs have had in understanding how to use automation and technology. As much as I'm the tiki techie, right? I love technology and I like using it, but not just for the sake of using it. We want of using technology, but for the sake of actually making sure we can do more with less and making it very useful rather than just for the sake of saying that you use technology. You really need to put some thought behind it. And I want to make sure everyone understands that on this call, this is not a techno presentation. We're not going to go through and highlight specific tools in terms of how they work and drill down deep. We're going to be talking more about the strategy piece. And then if you have questions, though, and you want to ask some of those technology questions, we're more than welcome to you're more than welcome to ask those, and we'll answer them as best as we can. But I want you to understand this is really all about making sure you leverage technology best by having a sales and marketing strategy. And with that, Evan, I'll let you take from here.
Yeah, and that's a good point you made, Ronnie. You know, technology is only good as the plan that runs it. And I can't tell you how many business owners, and for those of you out here, you could probably say this to yourself, and you've probably felt this way. How many times have you bought a new piece of technology, not just for your business and your personal, and you just never leveraged it right, and you didn't get out of it what you thought? I see that happen time and time again. And 95% of the time, the problem isn't the tool you used, it was the way you're using it. So, you know, the goal of today is, as we're talking through things, is really allowing you to walk away with an understanding and a framework of strategy that you can implement in your business despite what tool you use. There's tons of things out there. There's so many resources, it's ridiculous. But we want to make sure that we're giving you some value that, regardless of whether you're doing things manually or automatically, you have a strategy and a framework that's really going to set you up for success. So I'm going to ask a couple questions out there of how many of you have you asked yourself? How many of you out there have asked yourself, why aren't more people interested with what I have to offer? Why aren't more people buying from me? And why don't my customers tell their friends and coworkers about me? Those are some interesting questions that probably sit in everyone's mind. I mean, I've owned two of my own businesses, and those are answers or questions that I've asked myself till the cows came home, until I learned strategy on how to eliminate people asking that question and just answer it for them. So we went out, and to really back up some of these questions, we went out and we really surveyed thousands of small business owners, and we really wanted to understand what are the biggest needs of small business owners, because I don't want to put my finger up in the air and say, well, I think this is what small businesses need. So we actually went out and we asked them. And based on what small business owners have said, these are the top responses: repeat business, better conversion of prospects, utilizing social media, identifying the ideal customer. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. Attracting customers, lead generation, huge. And the second was marketing strategy. And I'm going to venture to say, I'm going to throw this out there, that if you have the right strategy in place, the right strategy will solve your problems of repeat business. The right strategy will solve your pains in converting prospects. The right strategy will include social media, but it probably won't solve your social media problems or challenges. And the right strategy will include identifying your ideal customer, and it'll help you attract customers more. And I want you to look at things in really everything that we do and everything that you have in your business. You've got to have a process, and everything has a cycle. And we use the word life cycle here at Infusionsoft, and it really fits. And every aspect of your business has a life cycle. The products you develop has a life cycle. Your customers have a buying cycle. You have a selling cycle. Your marketing has a life cycle. And we've really broken down an easy-to-understand framework that has three areas, and they're attract, they're sell, and they're wow. Attract deals with bringing your customers to you. Selling is selling them, and wowing them is thanking them for doing business with you, making them feel the love. And we're going to deep dive into these three key areas today, and we're going to try and do it in 60 minutes or less, because we want to give you time for questions at the end. So without further ado, we're going to start talking about attraction. How do I make myself stand out in the market? You know, the problem is that attracting customers starts with focus, because you got to face it, most consumers aren't actively looking for your company. They're looking to solve a problem, and your company just happens to solve that problem. More often, again, they're looking for a solution that satisfies a particular need, and they really have to discover you by accident or because you have a great attract strategy in place. So we're going to talk about three key areas of attraction and what those include. And the first piece, when you look at this, is targeting your customers and identifying, what does my target customer look like? Now, Ronnie, I don't know if you've ever met with entrepreneurs. I'm sure you have, and you ask them who your target customer is, and their typical answer is, well, everyone's a fit for my product.
Yes, that's the most common answer, everybody. And I say, well, unless you have unlimited resources, time, money, and energy, just to go out to find everybody, that's not a good strategy.
It's totally true, because there's a saying, if you sell to everyone, you sell to no one. And in a world where information and products and companies are so just accessible via the internet, you really have to focus down and identify who your target is. You've got to look and say, well, it's not everyone. You know, my target is that guy right there wearing the jersey. That's my target, and that's who he looks like. And when you do that, it gives you clarity to your branding and your messaging. It makes your marketing messages more effective. It allows you to actively and effectively seek and find customers of that type. When you do that, not only does it help you really on the attraction side, but it helps you to really design products and services to meet the needs of the right customers. And I say that and emphasize the right customers, because everyone out there has probably had, we'll say it, and I'm not going to be politically correct here, they've had the pain in the neck customer, the customer that they got and go, wow, I wish this guy would just take his money back. And typically speaking, if you've ever hit that type of customer and you get multiples of them, they probably fit the same mold and demographics. And you have challenges with that person because they're not your target customer. They may like what you have, but they're not really who you're designing your product or service for. So when you target and design products for your target customer, it increases customer satisfaction. And increased customer satisfaction increases your referrals and your growth of your business. So you
And I
really,
think,
really have to target.
and to that point, Evan, it's important for everyone on this call to understand, because I know that marketing to everybody, you want to help as many people as possible. And we all have that mission to help others. So it's very normal to want to help everybody. And I know that we may say to ourselves, okay, yes, I need to niche down, I need to target. But at the same time, I know there's this other part of you that's saying, well, wait a minute, why can't I help everybody? So in the back of our head, we're always like, we'll niche down and then we'll market to everybody later. And understand this, that if you're targeting, as you said, Evan, customer satisfaction increases. Here's the thing. If it's the wrong target audience, then you have customer dissatisfaction increasing. If that's the case, a dissatisfied customer, as we know, is very, very bad. It multiplies much higher than a positive customer. So when you have a disgruntled customer that basically isn't happy as happy as you wanted them to be, isn't satisfied, or let's say because their expectations were met, because let's say the marketing just wasn't on target and they came on board, trying to reverse what they say negatively could even be more disastrous for you. So you want to make sure, targeting and niching down allows you to reduce that risk.
Absolutely, 100% too. So when you're looking at targeting, there's a couple things that you can look at. And the typical thing that everyone asks when who your target customer is, they start going into demographics. Age, gender, ethnicity, income, geographic location, and most people go to the standard demographics. But more importantly, not only do you need to understand who your buyer is, you need to understand the psychographics, which is the why they buy. And customer psychographic information really provides you with more in-depth profiling about how your customers think about things and how they spend their money. Psychographics include things like, what kind of music they like, what type of brands do they buy, how often do they go shopping, how much money do they spend on certain purchases. It's their values, their motivations, their attitudes, and their beliefs. And you need to take both of those into play when you're really identifying your customer. And a lot of times when you look at psychographics, especially values and motivations, you typically want that to align to your company's mission and your values and your purpose. And when you get that alignment, you just get the right customer, which is an amazing buying experience, and it makes you a happier business owner and them a happier customer. The other side of the financial impact of really identifying your target customer is looking at your advertising expenses. If I run a wide open ad on Facebook, I'm probably paying $3 to $5 per click. Whereas if I run a targeted ad on Facebook based off of age, gender, location, and likes, I can probably get clicks at about 65 cents a piece. So understanding your target not only gets you better customers, but it lowers the cost of acquiring a customer if you're paid advertising. So I'm spending some time on this because knowing your target and understanding your target makes your whole business a whole lot easier, and it just makes that whole life cycle so much better for you. Ronnie, any other pieces to add on there?
Well, I want to make sure that as everyone's looking at this slide where we have demographics on the left and psychographics on the right, take stock and think about what you do right now. How well do you know your target customer right now? Again, as you said, Evan, a lot of people look at demographics, but the psychographics, understanding what motivates them, what their attitudes are, their beliefs, and their values, that potentially will have them resonating with you more so than someone else. What is it? Do you really understand the psychographics of your current customer? So if you're taking notes, jot down those 4 psychographics: values, motivations, attitudes, and beliefs. Write that down, because you want to definitely, if you have not, and my bet is you have not yet really scoped this out and evaluated your target customer based on the psychographics, do that after this call.
Yeah, absolutely. Because effective marketing and effective selling is how do I enter the conversation in my prospect's mind? And if you don't know what motivates them and their beliefs and their attitudes, how do you enter a conversation in their mind? You're just in a pitch and sell mode, and that's not how you grow and scale. So we're going to continue because we could probably do about an hour and a half on this, Ronnie. You've targeted your customer. Now we know who they are. We know why they buy. We need to attract them. We need to kind of get them to come our way. So how do we make ourselves stand out in the scope of businesses out there? Is it being number one in Google rankings? How do you get noticed? Well, you find out where people are most likely to come in contact with you and get that brand messaging out. And after you identified where people will likely find you, you got to start focusing your efforts there. Maybe it's Facebook, maybe it's Google Ads, maybe it's flyers. Depending on the type of business that you have, there's multiple attraction strategies and methods to generate business. And you need to focus on those. Now, I'm going to show you a slide here, and this is one of our clients, a gentleman named Greg Harrelson. And I'm going to tell you the quote, and I'm going to tell you what he does to get noticed and how he attracts. So he goes, "We are the authority in our market. Thousands of people see the value in our content, and they're calling us instead of calling them." It flips the script on sales calls because now he's got an inbound sales strategy rather than an outbound. And he does that through content. So he gets noticed through content, very much content like you're attending a webinar today to really understand content that's going to help you grow your business. And there's the saying out in the market that content is king. Well, we've just realized that we probably haven't targeted right, and we need to really become more targeted in who we're attracting. Well, once you're more targeted with who you're attracting, you can create strategic content, which really talks to the people in a way that they understand better. So I've changed the content is king to strategic content is king. So let's talk about content marketing, because in today's digital world, content marketing really is the prime way to get information out and get people to familiarity with your brand and what you do and why they should do business with you. All content marketing is the following. It's creating and sharing valuable content that attracts, educates, and engages people. It can be done through storytelling that can connect the audience to you and your brand. So what is this, sharing valuable content? Well, I want to give you some examples of content marketing and some goals that you look to achieve with content marketing. So the goals of content marketing are this. They're to educate your prospective client. An educated buyer is a happy buyer. It's to inspire them, to get them to really attach to your brand and feel this sense of belonging. Content marketing can be to entertain. It could be to persuade. It could be to create conversation. It could be to establish authority, and hopefully you're using it for lead generation. So what are some of the ideas on types of content that you can create to educate, inspire, persuade, establish authority, and generate leads? FAQs about your products, how-to, instructional videos, YouTube, Tumblr, they are blowing up because video engages people. Concepts or ideas, opinions or perspectives on current events, research, analysis, tips and tricks. These are all different types of ideas that you can use for really content that attracts interest. That content
it's important.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying it's important for people to understand here that you're listening to this, and we've all heard that term content is king. But one of the things that people struggle with, and this is just from the entrepreneurs that I help, they set up social media channels, they create their accounts, but they have no content to put through it. They literally have the "I am here, come check out my website." They put that on their Facebook page, and then maybe they have a few things for a few days or a day, and then they have no other content that flows. And you've seen it when you've gone to a business page, a fan page, whether it was on Facebook or LinkedIn, and all you saw was a few posts and then a really big gap in between, in which case, if there's no content going through, then you're not establishing authority. You're not building what we call social influence. You have to do that in order to attract customers, build your reputation. Reputation is credibility plus visibility. Content helps you to establish credibility because you're providing your concepts, your ideas, and then visibility is how you deliver that through whatever different channels we have, whether it's directories or social media or through webinars and videos and so on. Those are the delivery methods, but you have to have content to be able to push through those channels.
Absolutely. Now, one of the key things out there that a lot of business owners make is they give too much away for free. The goal of content has to be to educate and to generate leads. So the next part of attraction is collecting leads. Now, there's a premise when you're looking at collecting leads that I want you to understand, and it's really simple. You need to provide value to get value. So you all signed up for a webinar today. You signed up with your first name, your last name, your email, and your phone number, because what we were offering you from a value perspective was greater than the value of your phone number and your email address. So everything is value, and the beautiful thing about value is subconsciously you're starting to get your prospective clients in the habit of transacting with you. You all performed a transaction with Ronnie and I today because you paid me your first name, last name, email, and phone number, and I'm paying you back with content and education. And just psychologically, that's powerful because you're getting people in a yes mentality. You're getting people in a value exchange. So as we're talking about value exchanges, what are some of the things that you can provide value with to get value back? And here's a list, and you can please jot these down. There's webinars. You can do educational webinars that are of value to your prospective client. Podcasts they've been around for a while, but they've blown up in the last probably 6 to 8 months. Ebooks have been around since the digital era. PDFs, infographics, free training. You'll see lots of retail companies especially offering discounts and promotions, coupons and contests. These are all different ways for you to provide value to get value. One of the questions that I always get asked is, well, how much should I ask for? You know, do I just ask for an email? Do I ask for name for an email? Do I ask for name, email, and phone number? You know, I would say put yourself in the shoes of the prospect. If you didn't know who you were as a company and you were being asked this information, would you give them that? And if you say, well, I'd give them my name and email, but I wouldn't give them my phone number, you probably want to remove the phone number or increase the value of what you're giving. And you'll see forms all over the place. Sign up in a second. Join my news list. Get started with a free account. Subscribe here. Newsletters. These are all ways for you to really capture leads. But I want you to get in that mindset and just remember, before you capture leads, you've got to provide value to get value. If you take anything from this section, that is what it is. So when you're looking online, value cannot just be exchanged through your website. There's so many different mediums for you to generate leads. Here we're looking at Facebook. And on Facebook, on your fan page, you can create different tabs. And on those different tabs and pages, you can actually generate leads. So as we're looking at the example here on the page, you can see in the red arrows, get your free success CD. You know, and consider that over 1 billion people are using Facebook right now. Promoting your company on your Facebook page is a pretty smart idea. 1 billion people. I just heard word the other day that Facebook's about to start charging for people to use it too, so keep your eyes out for that. But as you can see, there's this box that says, get your free success CD. When you click on that, guess what? It takes you to an opt-in page where it tells you, get your free CD from the preeminent life and business mentor and #1 best-selling author. Get your 12 secrets to success. There's so many different things that you can do from a lead generation perspective here. So whether it's Facebook, whether it's your blog, whether it's your website, whether it's a landing page or a squeeze page, get those offer up and start generating value for what you have. Now, we've attracted our leads, we've captured them, and a lot of times we make the mistake and we just say, well, now I'm going to sell them. But just because you've captured a lead doesn't mean that you've earned the right to sell them. It's an interesting premise, and you have to remember that. You got to remember that what most people do when they capture leads, they immediately turn into a hard sell. I give you an ebook, you download the ebook, and I start sending you offers. But that's good for people that may be ready to buy, but what about the people who aren't? How do we talk to them? And that's why I feel that the next step of lifecycle marketing is really the missing link that a lot of businesses struggle with, and it's the selling side of things. So we talked about attract. Now we're going to talk about sell, which is the second phase of lifecycle marketing. So selling is made up of three different aspects. It's made up of educate, it's made up of offering, and then it's the close. So let's talk about the first, which is educate. Now, you've got leads, and they come in, and we're working under the premise that buyers aren't ready to buy yet. So how do we stay in front of them? Well, we educate them, because consumers will only pay attention to you when they're motivated to do so. And the best way to gain their attention is through interaction and education. Now, obviously, you'll need to understand your target customers before you can educate them. That's why targeting is so important. But as you build your content up, consider how your message serves your target customer's basic psychological needs. Then build out content, whether it be on your website, your blog, or social, or other platforms that meets the needs of your prospects. Because the same way we're creating a life cycle for how we market, there's a life cycle for how people buy. They have a general awareness of needs. They start assessing alternative solutions to the need. They look and say, how does this solution, sorry as I jump ahead here, minimize or alleviate risk? So how do I minimize risk in what I'm deciding to buy? They make a decision, and then they see the results of that achievement. So you've got to understand that life cycle, because the mistake a lot of businesses make is they capture and they pitch. Well, you don't. You're educating people, not pitching them. Be helpful, and the money will come, because buyers buy when they're ready to buy, not when you're ready to sell. And the trick is to stay in front, to provide value, and to be there when people are ready to make a decision. So when you're looking... Go ahead.
I'm just right. I was just saying, if you go back to the last slide on educating, and I want to make this very clear, because I hear this all the time in terms of platforms and technologies, and people want a system. It's one of the first things, right? People get a system that captures the email and name and web form, and then when they do that, they go ahead, they capture the email, and they send them an offer right away. And a lot of reasons people do this that I notice is because of time. They feel like, because let's face it, when you're educating and you're not pitching, you're educating, you're building a relationship. But some people are too anxious. In fact, sometimes you could say it's too anxious, where they're like, okay, I got to make some sales. They're wanting some sales now, so they go ahead and try to make it sell. Yeah, there's people like that. But then there's the other people who, quite frankly, don't know how to use a system to actually build a relationship and do it in a way where it doesn't take too much of their personal time to do it, in which case they feel like they have no choice. Oh, gosh, if I don't have enough time, I'm going to go ahead and send out an email now to do the pitch, because I probably won't get to it later. So I'm going to go ahead and do it now. So you feel like you've got no other way, that you don't have the time to build that relationship, and that's a shame, because in a lot of platforms, there is a way to do that if you know that, number one, you're supposed to do it, and you build that into your strategy. And then, of course, have a system that allows you to schedule, for instance, ways so you can build a relationship without having necessarily to spend 40 hours a week spending time online, sending emails or creating emails.
Yeah, what you're talking about a little bit there, Ronnie, is the difference between an autoresponder and marketing automation. An autorespond, someone fills out a form and emails just send. And it doesn't matter what they do, they just go. And a lot of times people use autoresponders when they don't have the time to manage, multiple strings and take person A out of sequence 1 and move them into sequence 2, where that's what automation does. And marketing automation, essentially, it's just like a choose-your-own-adventure book. I don't know if anyone remembers those, but I remember growing up, I had these choose-your-own-adventure books. And you read a chapter, and at the end of the chapter, if you'd like the knight to storm the castle, and save the princess, go to page 12. But if you want to go around and fight the dragon, go to page 18. Well, marketing automation is just that. It's letting your prospects' behavior move them through that education system. So when they're ready to educate, they're getting educated, and when they're ready to buy, they're seeing buy signs. So it's a big differentiation there.
Yep.
So, the thing you got to look at is to connect really with your potential customers by educating on topics that they care about. Again, not what you care about, what they care about. And that's why, again, understanding that target is so important. You have to know your audience. So, for example, if you're a dentist and they're looking for your address, they're most likely ready to buy. If they're searching for teeth cleaning techniques or comparing dentists, you're going to need to mentor them along really the process with answers to their questions so you can establish value, establish yourself as an expert. And you'll connect because you educate based on their values and their motivations. So as you're looking at following up and nurturing your people, really make sure you're saying to yourself, where are they at in their mind at this point in time? And am I speaking to them based on where they're at in that buying life cycle? Our email message is very personal, and all our emails are written as if I were sitting down to write an email to an individual, never a list. I love that quote because as you're creating content, create your content in a way that's talking to a single person. Don't write it as you're talking to a list. Write your content as if you were having a one-to-one conversation with someone. It'll help you to convert. Now, a lot of you are probably sitting there saying, this is a lot of time to map this out and really follow up. What's in it for me? What's the value of following up? Well, we're going to do a little bit of an exercise here and kind of show you a life cycle of how businesses typically run and then what the value of follow-up is. So you're going to generate leads, and let's say you generate 10,000 inquiries into what you do. Of those 10,000, 100 of them turn into prospects. And of those 100, 10 turn into customers. And in the typical life cycle, you drive leads, you create prospects, you sell, you take a deep breath, and then you rinse and repeat. But what happens to the 90 people that responded that weren't ready to buy? In most businesses, those people fall through the cracks. There's zero follow-up with them. Perhaps they go to your competitor or they end up in your oval filing cabinet known as the trash. But what happens if you start following up with those people who aren't ready to buy yet? You listen to your prospects and you realize they're not ready to make a decision to buy, and you educate. Well, 30 days later, maybe you close 5 out of that 90. 30 days later, you close another 5, and at the 90-day mark, you've closed 5 more. Now you're looking at closing 25 new customers versus 10. And that's a big difference. It's a big difference. And I promise you, once you start following up, you'll see that happens. Businesses statistically, when I was just looking at some numbers for some software businesses, 69% of the customers they close in terms of new business were generated within leads that were generated that month. 69%. Which means 31% were generated months prior. So you got to follow up. It's there. So now we've educated, we've followed up, and at the appropriate time, we make an offer. It's to determine when to provide an offer. You got to understand your target customer's buying process. Best way to do this, really, observe past customers' interactions and then create really a process of how they've done that. This is an example of a process map here. There's awareness, there's consideration, there's recommendation, and then there's a purchase. And the process of determining when to provide an offer is really specific to your business. And you start by understanding your segmented customers' buying process. When in the past have they been most responsive to an offer? And if you don't have a whiteboard, map it out on a piece of paper. If you've got a whiteboard, map it out. That way you can determine the optimal offer timing and then implement it, test, evaluate, and adjust if needed. A great tool that you can use if you're using a CRM and tracking behavior is lead scoring. Lead scoring basically takes all of the activities that your prospects are doing, what they're downloading, what they're clicking, what they're opening, and provides a score and allows you to really target your customers based on their interaction with you. So instead of making 20 sales calls in a day, you can call the 3 people who have taken steps that you deem hot enough to pick up a phone and take your time to call. Really allows you to allocate resources. So if you're using some sort of a CRM that's tied in with your marketing, Infusionsoft offers that, but if you're not using Infusionsoft and you do have lead scoring, start putting it into place because it'll really help you identify where to invest your time. And as a small business owner, your time is the most important resource that you have. So we've identified the time to make the offer. Now it's simple. Close the sale. But closing the sale is not just an exchange of money. It's an exchange of value. And when you create the life cycle for your marketing, you're building value throughout the entire process. And when you build value through an entire process, you're not just selling things, you're establishing relationships with your clients. And relationships with your clients are huge. It's what helps grow referrals. It's what helps you just have a happy tribe that follows you. So with a small sales teams and hundreds of prospects to track, automation helps keep an eye on any prospect from falling through the cracks. And this is a martial arts facility. It allows you, when you automate, it gives you the ability to know who to talk to and when. And you gotta have that. Build those relationships over time. So we're going to move on to the last stage. We've talked about attracting, we've talked about selling, and we're going to talk how do we wow our customers. Wow is made up of 3 parts. 1, deliver and wow, offer more, and get referrals. The life cycle just doesn't stop when you sell. It just continues from there. So when we talk about deliver and wow, you don't just deliver. You wow your customers. You have to go above and beyond to earn your customers' loyalty. And this doesn't have to cost a fortune. We're going to run you through a little exercise real quick, and I want you to stop and think. How could you wow your customers for $5? What could you do for $5 to wow your customer and thank them? Maybe a lottery ticket, Starbucks gift card, discount coupon, handwritten personal note. Lots of things that you can do for under 5 values that'll wow them, because it's not what you're giving them. It's the fact that you're doing something outside of the norm to thank them. Thank them for making a choice to do business with you. And that's something you need to remember. Doing business with you is a choice, because there's a whole lot of people that probably do the same thing that you do. So how do you make yourself stand out? You know, can you make what you're doing personal? Handwritten thank you cards go a long, long way. I know very few people that use handwritten cards anymore, and when I get one, I'll tell you what, it makes a huge difference. You know, there's so many things you can do. If you're a cleaning company, a personalized note when you leave. There's so many ideas of ways you can wow them. So as you sit here and leave here today, think about, what's your wow? How do you really go one step above and thank people for making the choice to do business with you? Start doing that, and I guarantee you'll start seeing additional results when you look at offering more and generating upsells. So now that you've delivered in wow, you've earned the right to ask for more business. And so the second stage in delivering a wow experience is to offer more to your customers, and determining what to offer and when to offer. You got to have a bit of strategy there. If any of you have ever read Stephen Covey, he's the author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Human beings have what's called an emotional bank account, and the account starts with a zero balance and really fluctuates based on deposits and withdrawals. And when more emotional deposits are made into your customers' bank accounts, their trust and confidence grows, resulting in stronger relationships for you. And the easiest way to make deposits is to determine how you can help your target customers and provide a solution. And the solution doesn't have to be your specific product or service, nor does it have to result in a sale. Your solution can be as easy as providing tips and resources related to their inquiry. And that's the key to a strong relationship, resides in your ability to make more deposits than withdrawals. So always be offering more. Always be offering more. And when you think about offering more, I think one of the companies that everyone knows that always offers more is McDonald's. Would you like fries with that? It doesn't matter what you order at McDonald's, they're going to offer you French fries, even if you order a milkshake. So start thinking, what are your French fries? What are the cross-sells that you can offer? What are the upsells that you can offer? Or what are the new items that you can offer to go along with it? And have that strategically mapped out in your business. If someone buys product A, product B or product C is the next logical step. So let's market and educate on that and cross-sell and upsell into those packages. It really comes into your product ascension strategy. When you look at a lot of online coaches, you can see they'll offer they'll offer a paid membership site, and a paid membership site escalates into a weekend coaching program, and a weekend coaching program goes up into a group 6-month program, and a group 6-month program goes into one-to-one coaching. So always think of what are your upsells, what can we cross-sell into, and what are new products that I can release that's going to help me generate additional revenues for the business, and more importantly, provide a need that my target customer has.
Well, it's interesting, too, that McDonald's and other restaurants, for instance, when they do a cross-sell, and this goes for other businesses as well, that the initial product, often they're not making much on that initial product. It's the upsell and the new products afterwards where they actually have a higher profit margin. And that's true in a number of businesses, whether it's coaching or food service. At the end of the day, when you have that first product, often it could end up being a loss leader. But you have to have something, right, that engages them, that they go, oh my gosh, this is great. And then when you sell them something even more, that upsell, of course, it blends in with what you're providing. It's a perfect match. But they're already there. They're already in buying mode. You've got them. Now it's about making sure that you're not just selling them fluff. You're selling them things that go together as far as the cross-sell and the upsell and the new. It makes sense. It goes together. But understand that you have to have a platform also that allows you to do this. And I know a number of people that don't bother with the cross-sells or upsells or having, and I call it Amazon effect, where you've got all these purchases you made and Amazon says, oh, you like this, you might like this too. Okay, and people think, well, I'm an entrepreneur, that's too hard, something like that is too hard to configure in a system, or maybe some of the lower end systems don't have that ability. But understand that in a number of businesses, that is where more money is available to you. It's a higher profit margin often in that second or third product, that upsell from the initial product.
Absolutely. And just to go off of that reference, one of the best ways to look at that is look at retail stores during the holidays. I'm sure all of us have walked into Best Buy or tried to buy that $200 60-inch LED TV that they're selling at a loss. But if you ever notice, when you walk in and you see that loss leader product, right next to it are the HDMI cables that go with it, the mounting hardware to go onto your wall, the power supply to protect it from surges, the stands to put it on if you're setting it on a floor, the Blu-ray players that go next to it, the warranty information, so you can buy a warranty that has a 90% markup on it. They've got everything there.
Systems, right? They've got everything set up for you to just pick it up, and it's impulse.
Mm-hmm. So offer that to your customers. People, again, psychologically respond to that. When I was young and started working in sales, I remember it was an analogy that still sticks to me to this day. And they go, picture someone who buys from you. They're sitting in a car, and the moment they say yes, up to the moment where they say yes, they've got the window of the car down. And the moment they say yes, that car window starts to roll up, and you only have a finite amount of time to throw whatever you can into it. And that's why you have to be organized, because once people say yes, that buying behavior slowly starts to dissipate away, and you only have so much time to get that cross-sell or upsell in as they're taking you up on that initial offer. So I think we've hit that one pretty good. We're going to talk about the last stage of Deliver and Wow, which is getting referrals. I think when you talk to entrepreneurs and small business owners and you ask them, where do you get your leads? The number one answer I get is I get them from referrals. I follow it up with, that's awesome. Do you ask for those referrals? And most people proudly respond, nope, I don't have to do a single thing to get them. And they're happy with that. And I look at them and go, well, first off, the fact that you get referrals without asking for them, that's just a testament to the fact that you've got an amazing business and a great product and provide a quality service. But what would happen if you actually asked every customer for a referral? How would that change things? So we're going to think about that for a minute here. You'll spend less money marketing to your existing customers than trying to attract new ones. And that's why it's so important to really wow them from the start. So as you're looking, we're going to see another quote from Tom Force here. We partner with other businesses who help us spread the word to more people than just through our own efforts. So we're going to talk about two ways to get referrals. One is through partnering with other businesses that augment what you do and really make it easy for them to send referrals your way. At Infusionsoft, we've got a great customer referral program. Refer a friend and everyone wins. Refer a friend and you'll each get a $500 Visa gift card. And we make it easy. You go online, you click a button to refer, and you fill out a form. And if your friend who was referred by you both get $500. We make it easy. So now that's one way to do it, through partners and through businesses. But we talked briefly about asking for referrals, and we're going to go through this advanced referral strategy real quick. And it's so advanced, it's 3 words. It's ask for them. Get in the habit of asking every person you deal with for a referral, whether that be through a phone call, through a face-to-face interaction, through an email that's sent out, if you're on a membership site, and then have it pop up there. But you need to get in the habit of asking every customer for a referral. And you have to ask. Ronnie said it earlier when we were talking about targeting customers. Unhappy customers make a ruckus. An unhappy customer will unsolicitedly tell everyone they know not to do business with you if they don't like it. People won't have to ask. They're just going to tell them. Oh, you're going into town? Well, don't go here because I had the worst experience ever. They're quite vocal, angry customers, so we want to avoid them. But as vocal and unsolicited as detractors are, that's almost as quiet as happy customers can be. Happy customers don't always think to tell all of their friends about the amazing experience that they've had, but if they're asked, they'll gladly give you a rave review. So knowing that, you have to solicit it. And you may feel uncomfortable doing that. I might be pushy. It's all in the delivery. And remember, everything comes back to an exchange of value. And if the value of what you've given them is greater than the value of what they've paid you, you have every right to ask them for a referral. And I promise you, they will gladly give them to you.
It's amazing how many people don't do this. But think about it this way. In this world of Yelp and other places where there's reviews, people buy from who they trust, and they're willing to look up you and your product, your service, your business to see what your reputation is. But when someone comes out and says, hey, I really trust this person, that's even more. I mean, think about movies. I almost don't bother going to a movie until I ask my friends, who's seen this movie? Anyone seen the latest Transformers? And they say, oh my gosh, it's at the 3rd grade level script writing, which Transformers was. So I would go, well, geez, well, maybe I'll wait until that comes out on TV, on Showtime, as opposed to going to the movies to see it, or maybe on the cheap theaters. But, you understand, people buy from who they trust. And again, as I mentioned before, often people don't bother with referrals or asking for them because, in essence, it's like follow-up. Right? You're following up with people who are happy with your business, and it's a shame. And people say, well, I don't know how to approach and ask for a referral. Well, think about it this way. I could be wrong, but I'm guessing you're doing your business to share some valuable product or service that helps someone. And if someone's very happy with your product or service and they know someone else that could use your help, that has a pain point or problems, challenges where you have the solution, then by not asking for a referral, you're doing a disservice to the people who need your help. You're taking that option away from the person that has someone that could use your help. You owe that to them. It helps you. It helps them. It's a win-win situation. Again, as long as you're providing valuable service and, of course, the person who's doing the referral for you is happy with your service, you want to make sure, that you're doing quality service and everyone's super satisfied. But there's no shame to asking for referral. And what I often do is I say, if someone's happy with, let's say, I help people to roll out a new business or I do some strategy session for them. And I say, if you enjoyed that strategy session, please let me know if you know someone else that needs clarity about their business. I'd love to help them because my mission is to help people launch successful businesses. And if you're happy, again, that's what I'm trying to do is help others to do that. And I appreciate any assistance if you have anyone that also needs help. That's it. That's it. But I have to ask for that. Otherwise, people are like, oh, I guess he's okay. He helped me. He probably has a whole bunch of business. And they don't think about, geez, maybe I could help. Maybe I have the power to help someone else that he has a solution for to help their challenge. Again, do not be afraid to ask for a referral.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Ronnie. Couldn't have said it better myself. So the referral piece is really the last stage of life cycle marketing and wowing. Now, for those of you who are here, you're probably saying to yourself, I love this, but that's a lot of manual work to make that happen. I don't have the time to do those things. And like I said, the most valuable resource you as a small business owner have is your time. And we know that. And that's why when you look back at what this webinar was about, this webinar is about strategy and automation. Now, strategy is only as good as how you implement it. And if you're doing everything yourself and you're doing it manually, it's going to be hard and it's almost a full-time job. And that's why you need to look into solutions. Solutions to really automate the manual, mundane things that just suck the time out of your day. Following up, I mean, everyone here knows that following up with prospects and clients is the most important thing you have to do to grow your business. It's also the first thing that stops when a problem arises. The first thing that goes is the follow-up. So we wanted to share some information on you on a system to help really automate a lot of the processes that you have, combine multiple systems that you may be using in your business today and automating them. And that solution is Infusionsoft. And we've created a link here. It's a bit.ly link. So if you're to go to bit.ly, so bit.ly/Ronnie Tsunami, you'll be able to watch a demonstration of a system that will help you automate the sales and marketing of your business. It'll take the strategy that you're going to start to map out and allow you to automate the manual, mundane prospects, identify who are the right people to talk to and when, and let you focus on the money-making activities of your business. So for those of you who have come today, please take some time. It's about a 20-minute demonstration, and it'll really talk to you about how to leverage tools and technology to automate the strategies that we've talked about today. So Ronnie, thank you so much for taking the time to be here today. And for those of you who invested time out of your day to listen, thank you so much. I really appreciate it and hope you're able to walk away even with one thing that's going to change really how you do things and help you grow your business.